There's only one Broadway.
A new world calls across the sky.
This is a fact I've known all my life, and yet never really thought much of.
A new world whispers in the shadows. Time to
However, during my semester abroad in New Zealand, when I was just about as far from New York City as possible, I began to appreciate how close I've always been to Broadway in a new way. I took a musical theater vocal performance class during my semester at the University of Otago. The class was made up of 4 Kiwis and me. I vividly remember walking into the classroom late because I couldn't find the building, and becoming immediately terrified with the realization that there were only 5 of us. As it turns out, I was right to feel nervous. Prior to my arrival in New Zealand, the class had been told that an exchange student would be spending the semester singing with them. They were all annoyed, considering they weren't allowed to go abroad, but apparently they came around after making my acquaintance. What I hadn't counted on was my having to take a second musical theater class, as it was required in combination with the one I was already taking. The second class was a group class comprised of all the other members of the musical theater program, about 15 Kiwis, and me. I was worried about feeling like an outsider, a neuroscience major from America surrounded by musical theater majors from New Zealand. Funny thing about music, though, it provides a space for all who are interested and wholeheartedly welcomes them in. And that's exactly what happened. Simply being a part of the class opened up my experience to wonderful new friendships. I went out to lunch a couple different times with my group, Beth, other Beth, Antonio, and Sam. Beth and I always made sure to split one of Eureka's so-called famous brownies. I have to say, expensive though they were also pretty good. I went on a coffee date with Lydia and Tony from the year above, and we bonded over common musical interests and experiences. None of us could ever get over the funny little differences between the US and New Zealand. It always came down to accent comparisons. I spent the semester singing with my new classmates and friends. Along with class twice a week, we had workshops on Fridays. The workshops consisted of all vocal performance majors at the university, so I was introduced to even more wonderful, open, talented singers. When it was my turn to sing in workshop, I looked out to see a crowd of smiling, supportive faces, and when others sang, I gave my wholehearted support in return. Towards the end of my semester abroad, the musical theater students had a vocal showcase in which we performed solo and group songs on stage. As I sang and danced with my new friends, I realized how global musical theater is. What's more, I was able to form strong friendships with people from my host country simply through the bond of Broadway and performing. I learned that, although Broadway only exists in New York, it resounds throughout the world.